Big field and a very good quality field too. They're off and running from the gates here, and Harvest the Gold will be one of the narrow leaders early from Counterpunch and Seeking the Silver, and Mount Sinai is right there as well as they arrive at the first over by the 1200 metres on their first occasion, and yes, they're all up and over that. Honey's back in midfield, just ahead of it Solid Steel. Up on the inside is Valley Heights, and with it there too as they settle now is Henry Daniel at the second. The one by the 1000 metres now. Henry Daniel third last, Hot Deputy second to last, and Fair King will be the last of all. So they make that first bend, and Sir Hilan took charge here for Shannon Doyle, leading the way to Mount Sinai, running second. Running third is Solid Steel. They're followed then by Seeking the Silver. Over on the inside then is Counterpunch, and Harvest the Gold is momentarily obscured there, that hurdle by the 800 metres, but it's 3 out on the outside of Seeking the Silver, and it's stablemate Counterpunch against the rail. Back and behind them comes Honey, alongside of that now to Valley Heights, then came Hot Deputy, Victory Morgan, Henry Daniel, and Fair King will be the last of all. There's not a great deal of pace on as they arrive and jump at the one at the 600 metre point on their first occasion. So they've got 2,600 metres to go, and they're about to enter the straight where they've got 3 flights to negotiate, and Sir Hilan will lead them to the first there in the straight. Jumped it a little bit quietly. In second now is Mount Sinai, and right there Solid Steel over against the inside. Harvest the Gold is very prominent. In behind that is Seeking the Silver as they come to and jump the second in the straight. Over on the inside is Counterpunch, tracked through by Valley Heights. Honey's in midfield alongside of Valley Heights, and then Fair King, who was last early, starting to improve. And back to the tail there to Victory Morgan and also Henry Daniel in the last trio. They've gone through the straight now. They've got 2,000 metres of the Rico Wellington Hurdles to go. And no speed on whatsoever here. Sir Hilan loping along, led the way now from Mount Sinai, wanting to go quicker for Perrott. Right there is Solid Steel and Jonathan Riddell, then Harvest the Gold. The Hawke's Bay winner is just in contention. Its stable buddy is Counterpunch on the inside. They race on the flat for about another 400 metres. Running 5th or 6th over on the inside then is Valley Heights. Out on the outside of it is Fair King. Between them Honey. A length then to Henry Daniel, Hot Deputy, and 2 lengths away now to Victory Morgan. They're about to go towards the 1,700 metre point, so that they're halfway junction now on the Rico Wellington Hurdles. And taking them into the back now is Sir Hilan, led by a length and a half. Mount Sinai. Solid Steel is third. Harvest the Gold 4, followed then by Counterpunch 5, Seeking the Silver on its outside. 2 lengths away and behind then is Fair King up against the inside. Valley Heights and Honey's in the centre. And then the rearward trio comprise Hot Deputy, Henry Daniel and Victory Morgan as they approach and jump the first in the back straight. And Sir Hilan by 2 leading the way. Mount Sinai still second, Solid Steel every opportunity third. Running fourth then was over on the outside of it now as they work through Seeking the Silver. Over on the inside is Counterpunch and Harvest the Gold just ahead of that duo. The next then is Fair King, Valley Heights and Honey in that group with Hot Deputy. Back to the tail now to find Henry Daniel and Victory Morgan just on the outside of it. They've gone over the one by the 1,000 metres. And it's still Sir Hilan leading now. Solid Steel prominent second with Mount Sinai third. The next is Counterpunch, and with it Harvest the Gold and Seeking the Silver looking to press on. Right in behind them is Honey, and then Valley Heights against the fence with Fair King in the middle. They come to the one by the 800 metres, and a great exhibition of hurdling by these. Back to the tail now for Henry Daniel. Ahead of it now is Victory Morgan, and improving from near the rear to be about third last is Hot Deputy. So they're about to make the swing across the top. They've got one to come to here, and at the one by the 600 metres there's one gone there. One went out, I think it might have been Hot Deputy, and there's another one gone as well. I think Henry Daniel. A little bit hard to pick up these riders. Let's have a look at the leading horses here as they come to the final 3 in the Rico Wellington Hurdles, and Honey is loomed up on the outside of Seeking the Silver. Then the pacemaking weakening now on the inside. Sir Hilan, Harvest the Gold is starting to jump into it. Further back then to Valley Heights, beaten off as Mount Sinai. Counterpunch, Victory Morgan is back, and so too is Fair King. Honey comes towards the last here in the big hurdle of the day, and went over at Honey from Seeking the Silver, who's trying very gallantly. Harvest the Gold is battling away near the inside, but Honey's in charge. Seeking the Silver makes it high, but didn't get there. Honey beats Seeking the Silver. A gap then to Harvest the Gold, Sir Hilan, Valley Heights, then Solid Steel. They were followed through then by Counterpunch, then came Victory Morgan, and further back then to Fair King. And yes, a couple of riderless horses here. Mount Sinai must have gone out at one of the last in the straight, and we've got 2 horses down, unfortunately, here. I think one of them in particular, we've got Henry Daniel and also Hot Deputy, one of the riders on his feet. Henry Daniel rider on the feet, but not sure about the rider there of Hot Deputy, so we'll just leave it there at this point. But 2 came to grief there at the 1 by the 600. But there it is, the running of the Rico Wellington Hurdles, and Kevin Myers, Joe Rathbone strike with Honey in our first feature this afternoon. Marred though by that fall, Brendan, which is, that's jump racing, unfortunately, and I do hope things will be okay for both horse and rider in particular there over by the 600.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, and we'll get an update as soon as possible on all horses and riders. Here's the judge, Dick Hunt.
To number 8, Honey. 7, Seeking the Silver is second with 4, Harvest the Gold third. 11, Sir Hilan is fourth. 10, Valley Heights fifth. 6, Victory Morgan sixth. 8, 7, 4, 11, 10, 6. Time was 4:39.45.
Yep, pick up on the judge.
Well, Kid, Honey takes out the Wellington Hurdles, probably the forgotten horse in the race, but won very well.
Yep.
$4,710 to get about the 40 cents. Give it to the lady behind the counter. That is a good dividend.
Nice work if you've struck it. Race number 6 with the 1. Here's Nothing taking it out. 1, 14, 9 and 10. Race number 7 on the program. That is set down to start at 5 minutes past 3. It's a rating 70 over the 2100 metres. We look forward to the next race at Caulfield Steve Davis on Caulfield Guineas Day.
Yes, certainly do. Thank you, Brendan Popple. David House, absolutely on fire, aren't they, at the moment? That's 3 for the team. And Ray Copeland, I see in the ownership there, looking at the owners, so congratulations. But yeah, David House, you can do a lot of things, David House, and certainly training horses is one of those. Well, we continue our coverage here on trackside with Melbourne coming up, Caulfield. Just reminding you too about that potential clash with the first couple of races, Metropolitan. You'll see the New Zealand Metro races live on TAB TV. We're going to stay live with Caulfield here on trackside, all right? That's the Guineas and the race after. Okay, let's see. Adrenaline is the favourite, 341.90. Glenn Boss, the rider. Delta G is also well supported. Michael Walker, our own Michael Walker, 722.20. Horse number 12, looking through the rest. Amathon, and it's at 920 and 290. They are the 3 in single figures. Adrenaline, let's go now to the TVN team, courtesy of Coolmore, the home of champions. And here now, the TVN.
Up a bit in the mounting yard, but he's definitely come through in the skin. You know, he didn't look as good as this in the coat the last start, and he blitzed them last start. And I just think with the win under his belt, he's got a lot of confidence out of it, and he's definitely come on in training.
It's exactly the same as So You Think was carrying on a couple of weeks back. It didn't bother him much.
No problem. So you go back to him around third to beat in the BDC sprint. That's good enough form for this, Rich, you would think, isn't it?
Look, I went to Warrnambool for the first time, Clark, and I learnt pretty quickly when they bet on Robert Smurden's horses, what you do, instead of thinking you're taking unders, you're taking shorts, you jump on, you enjoy the ride. Let me tell you that the last, it took me 2 days to wake up, but let me tell you, the last night, didn't we have a party at Warrnambool, and I'm on adrenaline here in the first. Maxwell started me off on the wrong foot, but I think we can hit back here.
Well, he just cost himself the race, Maxwell,
that's sort of sign of things for Graham later with I Love the City, because we touched on it before the first race. Sydney horses first did Caulfield. What can go wrong? It went wrong for Max Schwa.
Yeah,
wrong enough anyway.
Well, yeah, look, just that first time when he went to go, he just ducked in behind, and he's been beaten that much, has cost him the race. Simple.
Yeah, but I think Garnell got away with that, running the negative splits, as they say, in the swimming, and was able to control it.
Yeah, smart ride, and that's what got him the prize. Actually, the punters were on the ball in the first. They only backed 2 to beat Max Schwa, and they ran the 1, 2, 3, so I wouldn't read too much into that first.
More money comes again. They had another dip at Adrenaline, as the bookie said, well, we'll give you another go at $3 if you like that. Mind you, like the $4.20 yesterday, it was a lot better than the $3 I put up today. $3 again, and they nabbed it again here into $2.90, so clearly it is the big liability for the bookmakers, and probably one of the worst all day, Adrenaline, because the avalanche started yesterday, as we say, and continues today. Rich, did you hear any of the Toorak top stories? Amazing you only hear the stories about horses who are well in the market for big races. There were some reports yesterday saying he might not be on his game today, Toorak Toff.
Well, Clark, I had to do a luncheon and dinner last night for a couple of different charities in Sydney. I got out of I had my phone off on silent. I had 13 messages, all from Victorians, telling me Toorak Toff's out. Won't be taking its spot, and saw all over. And I rang, because Duncan McRae, of course, on TVN and Sporting Bet, rang me, who's part owner of I Love the City. He said, "Is it true? Is it true?" I said, "Well, they say it is, but it wasn't."
Okay, now 280 Adrenaline, so the money just keeps pouring in for this Robert Smyrn train runner. Okay, they're moving into the gates well for race 2 here on Caulfield Guineas Day 2010. To call the action in the second, Greg Miles.
Right, Shane, thank you. Here's Jungle Ruler coming up into the line now. So the favourite now, $2.90 and $1.60. They put up $3 again, quickly got knocked off, and he's into $2.80. He's a firm favourite, and Taggers has had support 11 into 9 on course. $2.90, $1.60 Adrenaline is the favourite.